As always, it has been a fun week here on First Take. And so we're going to ruin it by talking about the Jets. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow. Wow.
After nearly a decade-long separation, the Jets and quarterback Geno Smith are together again. Instead of waiting for him to be released, New York traded for Smith on Tuesday. If the Jets had waited, for him to be released Wednesday, they could have signed him for $1.3 million. The veteran's minimum, but they would have faced competition for him. So here's Geno Smith yesterday.
I believe I still have, a ton of years left on my body to play this game, and I want to continue to try and maximize it. And so I believe the Jets are getting a better player than I was in Seattle. I know that for a fact. Felt like I was back where I belonged, man. It felt special. Initially when I was drafted there, my goal was to play my entire career for the Jets and one day retire as a Jet. And although it didn't go exactly as planned, somehow, some way we got back here, and I'm eager to, kind of make things right if I can.
All right, so Geno Smith is right. They are getting a better player since he has departed from the Jets, now the one that is returning. However, we have to ask if they are now on the right track. When I heard this news yesterday about Geno Smith going back to the Jets, I think I had a very different reaction than you two, not you, did. Damian Woody, Mike Tannenbaum, Joe Fortenbaugh here with us. D-Wood, I'll go with you first. What did you make of the Jets bringing Geno Smith back?
I thought it was a really good move. I thought that they preempted any type of, if we all knew that Geno Smith was probably going to get released. He probably had options. So the Jets saying, you know what, we're going to preempt all of that. We're going to trade, basically swap picks and go get a guy that, listen, last year in Las Vegas Raiders absolutely stunk. They had the worst offensive line. You could make the case the worst roster in the National Football League. If you look at the 3 years prior in Seattle, Geno Smith played like a top 15 quarterback in the National Football League. If the Jets are getting that, they are getting a massive upgrade at the quarterback position. And then to go along with some of the other moves that I think GM Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn have made, I think they've absolutely raised the floor of where they are right now.
Interesting wording. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was a masterful move for a number of reasons. Shay, I cannot believe you don't agree, because this is the ultimate try to win for today and develop for tomorrow. You have maximum optionality. You have 5 first-round picks, and to have the certainty of bringing back Geno Smith as a great bridge quarterback, and D Wood talked about like leadership, bringing back Demario Davis, bringing Minka Fitzpatrick to the Jets, to me, is helping to stabilize the team. And again, nobody has more draft capital. And from a Geno Smith perspective, I'd say this. When you talk to veteran quarterbacks and recruit them, which I did a lot, first question is, how am I going to be protected? And you think about Armand Membo, Olu Fashanu, you think about Tippmann. That is a great place to start in terms of the offensive line. Ironically, they brought over Parham from the Raiders as well. So if I'm Geno Smith, I know I'm going to be protected. I got Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, Breece Hall. So the cupboard is not bare on offense. If I'm Geno Smith, this is a marked improvement over the offensive situation from Vegas.
In a vacuum, the Geno Smith move, it makes plenty of sense, right? He comes in, veteran. He had a nice run in Seattle, and the Raider run was who was going to produce with that offense.
Yeah, that is not his fault. No one.
So I like the move of Geno coming in, but big picture, what does that tell us? It tells us the Jets are not going for their quarterback in the future this year necessarily. They might be looking a year down the road.
Wait, how do you know that? How do you know what they're doing at 16?
Maybe it's their guy, and then they're going to sit him for a year. But this is ultimately what worries me. If we're going to go Geno this year, we're going to take our time. Year one of Aaron Glenn was an awful year. Not to say it's on him, but that was just an awful year for the Jets. If this year is awful as well, if this doesn't show this thing's moving in the right direction, you could see Woody just deciding we're going to make a change. And then what was the point of any of this? Because now a new group is going to come in and have to reboot the whole thing. That's what worries me. Ooh, that's an all-time $100 to the center on that one. I mean, that's an all-timer right there. Mike T.
It's my son who always costs me money one way or the other. It's on silent, and he's a favorite, so all-time. One way or the other.
But that's what worries me about the Jets, is that if this year's about, all right, we're going to get organized and we're going to try to move our way into the future, then next year we make the big splash or whatever it may be, if this doesn't go well enough and they don't look like they're trending right, you blow up the organization again and we're just right back where we started.
But how can you not say they're going to be better this year? They've added so many good players. I'm not saying they're going to be elite this year, but there should be meaningful progress. And again, when you add that and bootstrap 5 first-round picks, like that's the ideal situation you want to be in.
How have they been with developing talent?
They've actually been pretty well, to be honest with you. They've had talent. They've had talent. What they haven't had is culture. That's where they've been lacking. They've had talent. They dealt away talent this past season with Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams.
Exactly.
They've had right. So now what Aaron Glenn has done is said, you know what? The culture in this building has stunk. That's why I go out and trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's why I go out and go get a Demario Davis. Proven veterans who've done it all throughout their career and who are willing to mentor these young players. Because guess what? The Jets were the second youngest team in the league last year. So now you implement that with some veteran players.
This is the third straight year they're going to have a new offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. They basically fired their entire staff out of nowhere. And I understand it was Aaron Glenn's first year. We have visions of him sleeping at the combine when there's a position group going that they absolutely need to focus on. It's just hard for me when they go, and listen, I know Geno Smith is a good player, and whatever happened last year with the Raiders is not his fault. And he was a good player in Seattle, but there was a reason Seattle decided to move on from him, okay? And they decided to go in another direction. He wasn't producing at the same clip that last year he was there. And now you go to a Jets team, which I agree with you, has had talent, but they don't have, who's instilling this culture there?
Right,
who believes they're going to be in a better trajectory this year?
Context is everything. When you're paying somebody $3 million on a $300 million cap, that's less of an impact than what Joe's going to fine me for my son calling right now. It's nothing. It's nothing. So, like, if you hit on Geno, great. He's a stabilizing force for year two. If not, with those 5 first-round picks, be it Ty Simpson at 16 this year or thereafter, you have great optionality, which is really important in the system.
Don't you think you should use those 5 first-round picks to go get some ammo to get a higher, maybe draft pick this year in terms of quarterback? Maybe they'll take Ty Simpson. We don't know what they're going to do with that. They were serious about that position. Wouldn't they be going after that this season with all that draft capital?
I would like to believe that if this is the year where you have all these picks, this is the year you want to move it forward. So I'm saying next year's quarterback class is going to be better, but we hear that every year. Next year's class is always better.
Well, what you see now is everyone wants picks for 2027, not 2026. 2027 is the draft that everyone has been talking about. And guess who has the most picks? It's the Jets. They got all the ammo in 2027.
So I want to further this. Are we on the brink of a dynasty?
Stop it. What is wrong with you? We don't even know if the head coach is going to be the
went from firing Aaron Glenn to a dynasty in about 10 seconds.
Fair question.
You're insane. You're insane. I wish I had more. Listen, I live in this area now. Like the Jets and the Giants, it's so painful to watch every single week. I want them to turn it around, but it's like they make these moves, and I'm like, their highest paid player is now Geno Smith. Their third highest paid player is Justin Fields. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's get some talent around them.
Just be a little patient.
Coming up, we have another round. USA against Canada. Also, is USA manager Mark DeRosa making better, defending his recent comments? Another thing, I just want to be better. The UFL is trying out some very interesting rule changes to their upcoming season. Could the NFL adopt any of them? Mike Rapoli, who has a major stake in the league, will join us next.